Alan Walker is the man on the moon, and you are listening to The Takeover for your Wednesday night. And guys, I don't know if you think about this, but the colour green is often associated with good health. And you listening at home, we've actually got a segment coming up right now that's in the colour green on our screens.
We do. It's Wellness Wednesdays time.
Wellness Wednesdays on The Takeover. Brought to you by station sponsor Kelli Naturopath. Book your free discovery call today to uncover better health and quality of life.
That must be why green is my favourite colour, Ollie.
I see.
I'm just trying to manifest good health.
Well played.
Yeah, there we go. Kelli Naturopath, welcome to The Takeover again.
Yes, thanks for having me again.
So good
to be here.
Yeah, so good to have you back. And, it's school holidays. So we thought with school going back for most students on Monday, if you're lucky, maybe Tuesday or, some point next week, we thought it would be good to talk about healthy snacks, but also healthy lunchbox ideas for going back to school.
Yeah, absolutely. So it can be a bit of a barrier. I know for some, but either parents or if you're older and you're going back to uni or high school, then, working out what to take for lunch.
Yep.
A lot of people will just not bother.
Yeah.
Or,
school tuck shop.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
But if you really want to get the most out of your learning, then having good food to fuel you is absolutely really important.
Yeah, because you are a naturopath, you're a nutritionist as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so nutrition is a big part of what you work with, food and health and well-being from a food perspective.
Absolutely.
So it's really interesting you touching on the fact that to get the most out of school, to get the best sort of performance, it is important to have nourishing, healthy meals.
Yes, absolutely. So you need those nutrients. You need not just the nutrients, but the fuel to be able to feed your brain. Your brain uses a huge amount of energy. So anything that we do that involves, mental load is going to require a lot of energy. But the type of energy is really important. So when we talk about food and fuel and, some people talk about it in terms of, calories or carbohydrates, they're not all created equal. So, what you choose does make a difference to how you'll feel throughout the day, your mood, your energy levels, and your ability to focus and concentrate and take in new information.
A question on what you just mentioned about calories and carbohydrates not being necessarily equal. Like fad diets or diets that kind of eliminate one particular group of foods, like the keto diet, which is very low carb or no carb. Does that kind of then affect energy levels? Or potentially could?
Yeah, it potentially could, absolutely. Yep. Some people will feel really good for a time because they're balancing out their blood sugar and they're not having all these highs and lows. But for other people, they'll find that they will feel quite fatigued. I personally am really cautious about those type of diets because they are designed for a specific person, purpose, sorry.
Yep.
So keto diet particularly was designed for children with epilepsy. And that's, what its therapeutic use was for. And it's kind of been adopted as this weight loss kind of fad. But like you say, when you just completely remove one particular food group, for most people, the majority of the time, it has its place, but it can have some negative long-term effects, and I wouldn't advocate it just for the average Joe. Yeah.
So getting a little bit of everything in your diet is really important.
Getting a little bit of everything. And, when we talk about, low carb and low sugar and all of that has become very, very popular. So, but it's important to understand that not all carbohydrates are created equal. So carbohydrates are our body's preferred source of fuel. And so, our brain will prefer carbohydrates and sugars over everything else. So we want to just choose carbohydrates that also have lots of fibre. So things like brown rice and whole grains and wholemeal, nice sourdough breads, sweet potatoes, even white potatoes, rather than lollies and chocolates and white bread and white pasta and those types of things. So there's a big difference with how your body uses each of those two different types of carbohydrate.
So a question. So a lot of people at school, whatever. I just want to go to the tuck shop. I want to get a burger or
sausage
something.
roll,
Yep.
chips.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But when school's finished, you got to get home and you got to hop on Fortnite. You got to hop on some video game. So you want the mental energy to last you. What kind of food do we need so that we're stimulated?
Well, and this is a good point. Like when we're thinking about lunches, we want something that's going to help us get through the afternoon and avoid that 3 p.m. dip or that 4 p.m. dip where everyone's just like looking for a coffee or looking for a sugary snack.
Yes, yep.
So we want a meal that has a good amount of protein. So, something with some tuna or chicken or eggs or tofu if you're vegetarian. And we want something with some vegetables and then some complex carbohydrates, so some rice or some nice sourdough bread.
Okay.
So that you're getting those 3 different food groups.
Yep.
And you're getting the carbohydrates in, but when we combine them with the fibre and the protein, they will last us longer throughout the afternoon, and we won't have that kind of crash mid-afternoon.
So longer lasting energy.
Longer lasting energy,
Okay.
yeah. And it'll send the message to your brain that you've eaten enough, that you're full, that you're satisfied, and you won't have such intense cravings.
So it's the combination that makes it work the way it does.
Yeah, that's right. It's the combination.
All right.
Very interesting. When we come back, we might chat a little bit about some food ideas, some meal and snack ideas for going back to school or back to uni or back to work. It's for everyone, really.
Danny Goki with Make a Difference, and you are listening to The Takeover with Maz and Ollie for your Wednesday. And speaking of making a difference, maybe what you eat throughout the day is going to make a difference. Is that right, Kelli?
That is absolutely correct.
We've got Kelli K, naturopath, in the studio with us for another Wellness Wednesdays. Loved that segue, Ollie. That was great.
Very good.
I was inspired by all the green.
Yeah. There's a lot of green here. But yes, we are talking about healthy lunch boxes, and whether that be for going back to school next week, or if you're going back to uni or TAFE, or if you're working and, you just want some inspiration for healthier lunchbox ideas. I'm definitely putting my hand up for that one, because I run out of ideas, and I'm trying to achieve 2 things when it comes to what I bring to work for lunch. Like, I try to avoid buying food because it gets really expensive, but also trying to also eat healthily. So I'll tend to, there's like pre-made meals that you can buy from like Coles and Woolies and places like that, and I'll tend to bring those to work because they're a little bit cheaper, but they're still not as fresh, not as healthy as making something myself. So definitely need some inspiration, Kelli.
All right. Well, the first thing, there's 2 things I'd say. Is one, try and keep it simple.
Okay.
Like, you don't have to go gourmet to eat healthy. There's a lot of really basic foods that are yummy and also really good for you. And the second is try and stay organised, or, try and spend 10, 15 minutes on the weekend on a Sunday afternoon or something, thinking about what you're going to eat for the week, and maybe just doing a few little things to prep so that things are easier for you. Because often when we're busy during the week, we get tired, we've got a million things on our minds, and that's when it becomes really hard to make those decisions and do that prep.
Yeah.
So some really simple go-tos that I would say is always have some cans of tuna in the pantry. Boil up some eggs on the weekend because they'll last in the fridge for 5 days.
Oh, really? 5 days?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realise it was that long, because I quite often will do that, and I sort of think after a couple of days, are they still all right?
Yeah,
Okay.
they should be fine. So long as they're refrigerated and they're in their shell, that should be fine. And also the other thing that I will often do is while I'm cooking dinner, I will often just chuck like a chicken breast. I'll season it with some salt and pepper and bits and pieces, spices, and chuck it in the oven while I'm making dinner. That way you've got some chicken for a few lunches. You can chuck it in a wrap, chuck it in a salad, and it's sort of an easy protein source.
Yeah, great idea.
The other thing that I do, and I often suggest that people do, is when you do your grocery shop and you buy your fruit and veg, is chop up your carrots, your celery, your peas, whatever, pop them in a container in the fridge so they're ready to go. There's no prep then.
Yep.
And I'm a big fan of like a bento style box
Yep,
lunch where you just chuck everything in. The easier the better for me because I'm a busy mum as well. I'm working. So, then you can just grab your veggie sticks, grab your boiled egg or your tin of tuna, throw some hummus and crackers in there and you're ready to go. Yeah.
Yum.
So, keep it really simple.
Yeah. Oh, look, I've got a question, right? So you're trying to eat healthy. We're taking your advice, like of these different food groups and things that you can have. But I'll paint the picture for you. So you're playing Fortnite or something late at night and somebody
gets... This is a common theme, I noticed.
It is. I swear I'm not talking from experience, but right, someone got you. You're not having that. So you're going to play the game again and you're going to get that guy. Anyway, before you know it, it's 2 a.m. in the morning. Whoops. You've got a lecture at 9 o'clock in the morning. You've got to get to bed, get up, get to that lecture. Now, because you're tired, you're going to be tempted to have unhealthy foods to get through and have that sort of dopamine kick to make you feel awake again. But what would you recommend if you're tired to avoid that snacking on unhealthy things? What's something that would help someone get through their lecture, get through school, wherever it is?
Yep.
What kind of foods would you recommend?
Okay, I would go with your raw nuts and seeds. Always have a container of like almonds, walnuts, pepitas, that kind of thing. Obviously, it's a bit tricky if you're in nut-free school or whatever. But, if you can, always have a container with you ready to go in your bag.
Okay.
And you can have some dark chocolate or dried fruit in there as well. So any 70% plus chocolate.
Okay.
Go.
Okay.
And always have some fresh fruit on hand.
Fresh foods. Okay.
Yep. So if you're looking just for something that you can just grab and eat on the run, then that would be my go-to. Your nuts and seeds and your fresh fruits. So you're going to get some carbohydrate, but it's going to be good quality with the fibre, with the nutrients, and you're also going to get some protein and healthy fats with the almonds or nuts or whatever you're having with it.
Okay, cool.
Love that.
Before you can get to somewhere and hopefully not go through the drive-through it.
Well, that's the thing,
that's
right?
Yeah.
And it's the convenience of those things, like, they've got a special on nuggets or whatever. I'll just get that on the way home or on the way to uni or school or whatever. So having these things all ready to go in a container, some fresh fruit in the fruit bowl, it's easy. It doesn't involve, like you say, we don't have to be gourmet chefs. And I think that for me, I always think if I'm going to meal prep, it has to be something that's worth meal prepping, and it's not just a sandwich that I can make on the day. But really, even sandwiches, if you can meal prep a few of those on the weekend,
absolutely,
that's better than buying something that's really unhealthy because you've just run out of time and you don't know what to do.
Yeah. The other great thing, and now being school holidays still, and not yet back at school, is to actually batch cook a few things that you can portion into lunch size portions and pop in your freezer. Soups are great this time of year. Frittatas are really good. They freeze really well. Even, some curries or, that type of thing that you can just have lunch, in the freezer. You can get it out the night before and it's all ready to go. It makes the world of difference.
Healthy, and I know this isn't a finance segment, but also cost effective as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really important as well. You don't have to spend heaps of money to eat healthily. You should be able to use, your basics and and go to the markets if you want some,
fresh,
more affordable produce.
Yes. Oh my goodness. A day out in the central markets is just my dream, like the most amazing produce, and there's lots of different markets across Adelaide that you can also check out as well. But some great food for thought there.
Hey.
Kelli K, naturopath, thank you so much for joining us. I always love having you in and talking especially about food and the importance of good food in our lives and the difference it can make, as you say, Ollie.
Oh yes. The real game of fuel.
Better fortnight.
Better
results.
Yeah, that's it.
Because you got to win the game at the end, so you need to have the food that'll help you get there.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's a slogan for health food, if ever I heard one.
There we go.
That's right.
Kelli, thank you so much. We'll chat with you again in another fortnight.
Sounds good.